It's time to take charge. Welcome, 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 where it is our mission for our viewers to take charge of their future by taking charge of their now. I am the truth seeker, the passion preacher, and everybody's favorite speaker, your host, Jeff Shepard. We've got a wonderful, wonderful episode tonight. Dreams really do come true. Really. I know you don't believe it, but after you hear these stories, you will also believe that it's true and that you can do the same. I'd like to introduce our two guests tonight. First of all, we have Mr. Cornell Grady, and we also have Mr. Rodney Richburg. Both wonderful gentlemen, and I'm just so excited. I'm so excited because I think this is so needed right now. I think everybody wants more. Everybody wants to feel like they're accomplishing something. Everybody wants to feel connected to something greater, and it's so great that not only do you guys talk about it, you're actually doing it, and you've actually gained the ground, and you've actually have the success behind you that we'll get into later. So just so you know, this is a 3-part episode. Well, that's 6. 3-part episode, and they're going to be back. I mean, seriously, this stuff is so important. I had to make sure that we broke it down because I love my viewers, and I got to make sure that we're helping you grow as well. So without further ado, dreams really do come true. And the one thing I wanted to kind of share with the audience is that, and we talked about it, but dreams do come at a sacrifice. And sometimes in order to get a dream, you've got to go through a nightmare.
That's right.
You've got to go through some rough times. You've got to go through some growth periods, so to speak. And that's kind of what I want to focus on because your nightmare, excuse my language, but it's so powerful. It's so powerful. And I was actually talking to a young lady the other week and trying to get her to understand that there's power in her pain. She's had a rough past. It's really hard. It's still kind of holding her back, but there's so much power in that because she can help so many people. Just tell us a little bit about yourselves and introduce it to the audience, and we'll just take it from there.
Well, fantastic, guys. Of course, my name is Rodney Richburg, and I'm sitting here with one of my co-leaders here, Mr. Cornell Grady. But before I get started, I'm gonna have him kind of introduce himself and kind of give his little inspiration to why we do what we do.
All right. Well, listen, something I wanted to say to the young lady that you just mentioned, and you talk about the power and the pain. What we can't do is let it stop us. And what she needs to be able to realize is she has endured that. She survived that. So guess what? That's a key that God is with you. Right. So no matter what comes, you are already empowered to make it through. Absolutely. You just got to keep going.
That's right.
I remember watching Rocky Balboa. He said, nothing hits harder than life. See, the objective is to be able to take a hit and keep moving forward. Not left to the right or backing up, but you got to keep moving forward. So to her and anybody else that's in that situation, just keep moving forward. And once you hear Rodney's story about what he's been through, what he's been able to do, what he's been able to achieve, and what he's been able to accomplish, I don't want you to just get caught up into all of the pain. Right. Because we can identify with that. I want you to look at the sweetness in the story and look at how that pain, that temporary pain, how it paved out, how going through it humbled him, how going through it made him become the great person that he is today. Okay, but now my story real quick. I'm gonna say it from this standpoint, and by now the viewers know that we're part of a great company called Lincoln Heritage Life Insurance Company, and also a part of our marketing company, which is called Universal Benefits. Right there in small town Sumter, South Carolina. So don't tell me something great can't happen in a small place, right? But just from this, Jay, my first month in, I only was able to do 2 policies.
Wow. 2 policies.
My second month in. Now, this is no reflection, but it's an endurance where you can see the leadership and the commitment that this man had in my life. Okay, my second month in, I only did 4 policies.
That's double.
Okay, hold on. Third month in, I did jump to 20 policies.
Wow.
4th month, 33 policies. This just past month, I was able to get 38 policies. Now, I came up short. I wanted 40. I had 2 that canceled on me at the last minute. But this is a reflection of the leadership. It wasn't the process. It wasn't the information. It was so many other variables. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes the biggest mistake is we let the distractions distract us. We have to focus, recognize and realize who we are and why we're doing what we're doing, and keep our eyes on the prize. Where is it that you ultimately want to be? This company, this business, this opportunity that he's partnering with me to do is affording me an opportunity to do things for my family and my life. And when I say my family, it's me and my sons, 16 and 15, that is just part of my dreams. Just part of my dreams. But it's going to be able to financially finance that, and that's what's amazing. Now, last thing, and Rodney's finna take over, I helped him put together this DVD. It was important to me to do it because I did so many different things when it comes to marketing and all that. This DVD captures his essence, his story. Now, you're finna get an inside preview to it right here, right now, but this DVD will help you realize the truth of the matter is you can change anything you want. All you have to do is have the internal fortitude to trust and believe that God wants you to have what you want to have. So listen, great friend, partner, leader, trainer, and I also want to give kudos out to his brand new bride, who is an amazing trainer, Pam Richburg, helped increase the confidence because the product and the service that we do for families is amazing. We help families on the worst day of their lives. But the training that was done by these two, his wife and himself, was just tremendous. And where I see myself going from here, nothing but up. Nothing but up. So listen, just wanted to use that as a segue. And as Rodney shares his story, focus on it, pay attention, but then allow yourself to realize that if Rodney can do it, if Cornell can do it, you can do it. That's it.
Well, I told you this is going to be a great show, and it hasn't disappointed. So, Rodney, again, we talk about this rags to riches. It's almost like sometimes we look at it as a movie, like it can, yeah, that's nice for them, but it can never happen to me. I can't do it. And it talked about, you talked a lot about it with the internal fortitude and just understanding that really it's you that's in your way. That's it. But you've got to really understand that and give yourself permission to forgive yourself for what you've done, and then go hard. Like you said, always move forward. But Rodney, I mean, the story that I heard, and when I heard it, it just moved me. And I really, first of all, I'm so glad you guys came all the way down from or up from South Carolina. But I really wanted the viewers to really get a feeling of that and really hear that, and really hopefully it'll help them to where they are right now. So could you just, without further ado, could you just go ahead and just introduce yourself and just kind of let them know where you are now, you know what I mean? Sure. So kind of give them maybe go to the end for a second and then come back to the beginning.
Sure. Well, again, guys, I'm honored to be here in Maryland.
Likewise.
And actually, I lived in Maryland earlier in my career. I went to Morgan State.
Okay.
Actually, first of all, I went to CCCB, which is Catonsville Community College. And my whole aspiration really in life was really to become an FBI agent, Federal Bureau Investigator. I have a brother that's here in the studio that's with us, retired Baltimore City police officer, just retired last March.
Wow.
And he was a major inspiration in me getting more involved in the law enforcement. But during that time, Baltimore, Maryland had probably was in the top 5 as far as crime rate, you know, in the 80s and 90s. And I think he was the factor in me not getting involved in law enforcement. So it kind of pushed me off into a whole nother aspect of my life.
Right.
Which, again, as I said, law enforcement was the thing that I really, really wanted to do. And that just didn't happen for whatever reason. I thank God it didn't at this point. Wow, do I thank God. I tell you, I did a CD here with my buddy here, Mr. Cornell Grady, and it talks about dreams do come true. And I had no idea as I began to make it what I was going to even talk about or say. And Mr. Grady kind of told me, Rod, just tell your story. And throughout that story and throughout those years, he's been around me through some of those stories, through quite a bit of them. So he kind of understood the struggle and saw what I was up against, and I still kind of pressed on. I'm 45 years of age today. Actually, my birthday was actually in May, but I'm 45 years old right at this moment. And I got started in the business in '98. I got started. I was introduced to the insurance business right here in Maryland.
Wow.
Right here in Maryland. I lived off of Edmondson Avenue.
Okay.
So I kind of know my
I know
way
exactly
around the
where that is.
So for the listeners that's from Maryland, wherever you may be, hey guys, I'm just like you. You can consider me a homeboy if that's still a word.
Right.
But again, I got started in the business not knowing, and I merely got started truly because I needed a paycheck. I just needed to make a few extra dollars. That was the whole concept of what I really needed to do. And but through that process, it was a struggle. There was a struggle in this business as an agent. You know, you have to have transportation. You have to be able to kind of move from one house to the next house to the next house. But I knew that I could do this business. As I grew up in my neighborhood, I used to see these sharp-looking guys drive around with their coat hanging in the back window. And I said, whatever it is that they are doing, that's what I want to do. Because I thought it was glory. I thought it was fancy. I thought it was nice. They're not sweating, air conditioned, nice suit, nice shirt and tie. Right. Whatever it was, that's what I wanted to do. So I had that built in within me, but I didn't have the vehicle. I didn't have the opportunity to actually present myself to drive a car with a nice suit jacket hanging in the window. I didn't have that. Got involved in the insurance business. That was my opportunity. Never graduated from college. I have 12 family members, 9 brothers, 3 sisters, and they all went to school. You know, they all went to school. I never had my own bed. I got my own bed, I think I was in 11th grade in high school, because it was just that many people.
Had to share, right.
We had to share. You know, we had a 4-bedroom house. Father, retired military, 20 years Air Force, another 20 years civil service. My mother was just a home health nurse. And the financial resources just wasn't there. When the money got down to me, all of my siblings spent the money for college. There was none left for me. So I had to make my way. I knew, again, I wanted to become somebody in my life. So, again, I got involved in the insurance business. And, of course, along the roads, you know, I got in some hiccups. 19, 20, 22, 23 years of age, you know, getting in trouble, not doing the right thing, you know. I remember one day I got stopped for driving under suspension. And, you know, that driving under suspension, guys, you can't drive. That's what it means.
Yes.
It means you're not supposed to drive.
Right.
However, you know, nevertheless, I was involved in the business still. And I kept driving. And I kept driving. And I kept driving. And I drove for 7 years, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not praising that opportunity. I'm not praising that. What I'm saying is I had to do what I had to do to stay in the industry that I want to stay in. Right. And through that process, I was able to get myself out of that rut. It was a long rut. You know, didn't have car insurance on the car. See, in South Carolina, we had a thing where, and some of you guys who's older guys can probably remember, we would change our tags out ourselves. You know, you write on the back of your tags the tags applied for. You know, we were able to do that in South Carolina. And I just cut a cardboard out, and every 30 days, I would change it. I made my own tag. So
get out of here.
So when the law enforcement kind of got on the highway, you know, I always knew where they were. And I always knew how to always write. So I always turn right. I always turn right to get out of their way.
Right.
So I can continue. And I did that for years, going out writing insurance sales all across the state of South Carolina. Would drive some 300 miles in a day in that capacity.
Wow.
And so I'm not telling you guys to do that today.
Right.
That's dangerous. That's dangerous for your health. But what I'm saying is the determining factor of being in this opportunity and being in business, you gotta sometimes get out of your element. You got to do things differently. You got to do some things that you probably would say you would never ever do. My family would tell me, boy, you need to get you a real job. Get you a real job and stop doing that thing. See, they call that thing this insurance thing that takes care of them today. But it used to be 15, 18 years ago, it used to be that thing.
Right.
Go get you a real job.
Right.
I got beat up with my family because they didn't believe in this opportunity. Unfortunately, with the driving record, 22, 23-year-old male, there was no valuable jobs that's going to allow me to hang my coat in the window. So I couldn't get a job. So in hindsight, I couldn't go left. I couldn't go right. I had to do what I had to do and make this work.
Had to make it work.
Had to make it work. I didn't allow myself the options that some of us have. And unfortunately, a lot of times options kind of paralyzes us.
Yeah.
Options keeps us in a rut. Options don't allow us to grow.
And you know what? And I'm sorry, I gotta pause because that right there is so important. And I want to make sure that doesn't miss anybody, because a lot of times, like you said, options become distractions. And I even think you talked about distractions, because when we have options, we kind of talk ourselves out of something that we could have really gained some ground in, or we kind of let our fear turn us away. So we go to what's comfortable. So what do we call it? The comfort zone, or again, what you just said, with just having those options. Sometimes we get comfortable in our options, and we're scared to actually go past them. But you're saying you had no choice. You just kept moving.
I had no choice. I had to continue to do what I had to do. At that, early on, I had a family, early family, and I started young. I started at 20 years of age, and I have three beautiful daughters through a previous relationship. And I knew one thing that I had to do. I had to perform for those girls. I mean, there was no reason why, the mother and I fell out, but I had to be a winner.
Right.
I still had to be a winner in their eyes. If they call upon me, I had to be able to produce.
I know the feeling, man.
How does it feel, guys, ladies, to lose your family and lose your financial resources? Man, that's double. Right? With financial resources, that's not everything. But I tell you what, it can probably help some households. It can probably have your daughters look a little different. It can probably send them to a proper school that you so desire. So I didn't want to lose. I didn't want to lose twice. I didn't want to lose the biggest deal of my life was my family, and then turn around and lose my finances along with that. At that point, I'm dead.
Right.
So I forced myself to continue my drive to success. And through that process, I became very wealthy. I feel real good.
Look good.
Thank you. And there's things that I could never imagine myself being able to do. I was the guy who had to borrow $8 for gas to do what I need to do to make a living. I was the guy who went out to dinner with the team, and miraculously, I wasn't hungry anymore. Why wasn't I hungry? Because I didn't have any money.
Right. Eating the bread on the table.
and it's funny you say that, and I got some of my other leaders, and that's what I done. I would eat the free bread that come out, and I would dip it in some hot sauce or whatever the sauce that was on the table, and that's what I would do. And I would smile, and I would be just as happy. But I knew when I got back in that car with no driver's license, no tag on it, just me and the windshield, that I had to change that. I had to change that. I'm not going to continue to be this way in my life and have people look down on me. So my determining factor was a lot of different factors, but really, truthfully, it was within me.
Right. Yes.
It was within me and what I had to do and what I had to develop to make myself successful. I don't believe in the success, or you're not successful because of this deal or because of this company or because of this process or because of this. No, you can be successful in anything you want to do.
Yes.
I feel I can do anything.
And it's so funny that you say that, because one of the things that I actually say is that your destiny lies within your mastery. So it's your choice.
Correct.
And you chose to really develop and master this art of the insurance. And you almost used and I guess I'll say pain. You used it as a driving force. Right. You know what? Guess what? I accept it. I own it. And that's exactly why I'm going to succeed. Sometimes we don't even want to accept it. Sometimes we don't even want to feel that pain or feel that void. And again, we're talking about those options. No, this is why I will be successful. And it's so powerful. And the one thing, if there was, because I just talking to various leaders and various people who have really achieved success, a lot of times it came to a focal point, or there was a precipice, so to speak. So was there like a really low time or a low point in your career or your life where it was just like, you know what, I've had enough. Like this will never happen again.
Well, and I tell you, you say that, and yes, there has been. You know, there's been many, but there was one low point to where I was literally homeless. You know, I didn't have a true place to stay, and that was low. When I would pick my children up, I had to go out and make the business happen so I can impress them, and I impressed them at hotels for a year. When I would pick them up once a month, we would stay all over the state of South Carolina in a nice fancy hotel for the weekend, and we literally stayed in the hotel because it was fun to them. They loved it. This is what they wanted to do, or whatever. I mean, it didn't cost a fortune, but I didn't have a place to bring them that I can call my own, so I had to fool them, if that's a word, or say, hey, Daddy doesn't have a place, but we're going to do something fun. This is better than Daddy's place. So I had to fake the funk until I became somebody. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter to me because they're more valuable to me than anything.
Right.
So whatever the reason was or whatever, I was able to do it. Now, they don't have to want for anything.
Right.
They don't have to want for anything. I love them dearly. But that was probably one of the lowest points of my office. Never knew that. I never showed that on the outside because I couldn't allow myself to get attacked. I couldn't allow myself to get that fragile to where I cannot perform, because what was valuable to me was the family, the kids, and how I need to support them and what I need to be able to do. So, and through the grace of God and this opportunity over the last 18 to 22 years, it has flat just changed my entire family lifestyle. And I mean that from all within. And again, guys, I have a high school education, and I'm proud of it. I'm proud. I'll scream it to the top of my lungs about this system. I feel there's nobody better than me. I really feel that. I really feel that.
And you know what? That's not an arrogant kind of thing. That's a mindset kind of thing. And a lot of times we're afraid to even give ourselves permission to think that. Again, going back to those options, that comfort zone, because it's kind of uncomfortable. So there is nobody better than me, because it's almost like, okay, now is there somebody better than me? You've got to really be confident in that. And I just kind of want to go back. You spent a year without a place to really call your own, and you didn't show it. You didn't. No one would know it unless you actually said it. And I want the viewers to think, or to the viewers out there to understand, whatever you're going through, we're all going through something. We've all gone through something. Yes, I know it's hard, but you're not alone. You're not alone. We all go through things, but it's how you go through those things that's going to make the difference. He used that. And you know what? He got a glimpse. He would take his daughters to the hotel, and he said, fake it to it, he makes it. But, you know, I got one mentor down in Louisville, Kentucky, and I love his saying. He always says, not fake it, but you've got to faith it till you make it. Yes, you've got to faith it till you make it. And you've got to have that faith. And I promise you this, And I'm going to be the next success story. I'm telling you that right now. But I promise you this. It was because he had that faith. It was because you had that faith that those things came into fruition. Had you not, had you allowed yourself to be fragile, had you allowed yourself to be distracted and woe is me, you wouldn't have made it.
Correct. And I agree.
You wouldn't have made it. And I just want people to really see that aspect of the story, because it doesn't matter what you're going through. Doesn't matter what you're going through. You still can change your life right now. You can still change your life. It's not too late. It's not. I'm sorry. I got my preaching over here because, man, I'm telling you that it's so powerful.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it intrigues me because the more and more people that I meet and the success stories that I hear, they're different, but the principles are the same. And like you said, you've got a as we'll get into later, you've got a step-by-step formula on how people can achieve success in your area of business. And what I found is there's a recipe for success. I mean, there is if you stay committed.
Correct.
If you stay committed. So, look, I know we're running out of time here, but I do understand this. And if you didn't gain anything out of this show, I don't know what's wrong with you, because I sure did. And look, I'm sitting here with the man. So, I mean, I hope that you have really seen not only a success story from homelessness to changing not only himself, but his family's legacy. I hope that you see the possibility in it for you. And I know that you're going to actually still stay in town for a little bit. I know you got to get to North Carolina, but you're going to come back. Yes. At some point next week and actually have a conference. So for those of you that are looking for something, if for those of you that, want to learn from someone who's been there, but also has grown from that, I urge you to come out to this event. And I want you to tell them where it is, but I just want to say this one point before we go. Someone told me a long time ago, if you want to be somewhere that you're not, then you need to listen to someone who's already been there. See, a lot of times we talk to people who never even got there. We talk to people who have taken those options and who have never really pushed forward, don't even know what it feels like to be outside of the comfort zone. That's who we take our advice from. You really want to be successful? Talk to someone who's been successful. Not says it, but actually has done it. These gentlemen are going to be touchable, reachable in just is it a week?
2 weeks.
So for those out there who really see this message, you know what? Whatever it is, I'm living in my car. You know what? I'm tired of living paycheck to paycheck. You know what? I want to put my kids in private school. I didn't go to college, but I'm tired of that holding me back. Whatever that pain or excuse they're holding on, they want more. How can they find you, and where's that event going to be?
Well, Jay, I do appreciate it, and I appreciate the opportunity to allow us to kind of speak on your show. This has been great. It's an honor, actually, for me to be here.
The honor is mine, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. We're going to be located at the Hilton BWI, November 17th, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. That's the Hilton BWI at 1739 West Nursery Road in Linthicum Heights, Maryland. I do encourage each and every one of you listeners out there to actually come out. Definitely reach out to the station if you need additional information. It can be a life-changing event for you. And I'm going to be there to tell my story and go over this fabulous system. And I'll have several other guys and ladies, as I am, that will be at that location where you can pick their brains and ask questions. So again, audience, thank you for listening. Appreciate your time this evening.
And thank you. And before we get out here, I just want to say there comes a point in your life where you have to make a decision. You have to make a decision. Do you want to continue going the route that you already know where that's going? You've been there. You're living it. Do you want to continue going down that road? Or do you want to decide to change and make a difference? Do you want to decide to become better? Do you want to decide to change your legacy and your family's legacy? It comes a point where you have to make that decision. And this decision right here, all you've got to do is just go. Just go. And watch, as soon as you make that decision, life's going to find a way to make you change your mind. How committed are you? How bad do you want it? What is your desire? That's going to make the difference. So, gentlemen, it has been a pleasure. Look, I can't wait till next week where they're going to be back on the show. I mean, I'm telling you, we got a 3-part, I keep doing it, a 3-part episode all broken down to how to get from rags to riches. And it's going to be an empowering episode. So as we get out of here, again, I want to thank you, gentlemen. It has been an honor. And like I always say, take charge of your thoughts, take charge of your actions, take charge of your future.